Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we are looking at a watch that qualifies as the best of everything. Yes, this is the Cartier Pasha de Cartier, and yes, it is the Pasha Perpetual Calendar. But let's list everything that makes this spectacular. You have the modern Pasha design, complete with round case, Vendôme hinged lugs, and canteen crown, created in 1985 by Gerald Genta. There may, in the 1930s, have been a canteen crown sports watch created by Cartier for the Pasha of Marrakesh, but as far as anyone knows, that's more of an urban legend. This is definitely a Gerald Genta design. In the late 80s, Cartier evolved the Pasha design to include a perpetual calendar, and this model debuted in that time frame. It includes a perpetual calendar moon phase module, mechanical, of course, made by Gerald Genta, not the man, the brand. It came from the atelier in the Vallée du Joux that made, among other things, ultra-thin minute repeaters, Grande Sonnerie, and tourbillon. This perpetual calendar is a Genta. The base movement is by Jaeger-LeCoultre. An 889 automatic. This is mechanical, not quartz, and you can't get much better than a JLC base caliber. What works for, among others, AP, Patek, and Vacheron is ideal for Cartier, because Cartier is, after all, a styling house first and foremost, and that's what you get here. This was a nice size for the late 80s. In yellow gold, 38 millimeters in diameter, 10.6 millimeters thick, and from lug to lug, hinge lug to hinge lug, I should say, the watch is a compact 44.4 millimeters. Throw it on the wrist, and you can see that it wears quite nicely. It's not that it's a small watch, it's just that this particular type of lug means that the watch wears almost lugless. Very comfortable. It could be worn on a man's wrist or a woman's wrist, particularly down the barrel. You can see how the lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist, and this is when the strap is still relatively stiff. It'll fit even better as the strap breaks in. Having a sloped case flank with a relatively thin profile overall, this will fit underneath a dress cuff, and it is, properly speaking, more of a sporty dress watch than a sports watch. Over the top. Now the strap is substantial. There's a stiffness to it because that's the way with brand new alligator leather straps. They break in well and they last long. We have large rectangular scale alligator leather on the top, and it's symmetrical scale, large rectangular scale, indicating one of the most expensive cuts of the material. The edge features folding. There's a monotone stitch. You can see that this is a proprietary strap, so if you want to change the strap, you'll need to go with Cartier or have one custom made. On the bottom, it's calfskin. You can see that it is a brand new Cartier strap. Now, what's interesting here is we have a version of the famed deployant clasp, first created by Louis Cartier in 1909. That probably qualifies as the first wristwatch deployant clasp ever made. And we still have that wire loop aesthetic of the original. It's a single fold, it's a friction shut, so it snaps shut. And then you can see it uses a crimping system, so there's no actual perforations in the strap. You feed it through, you crimp it by tucking it under these two lobes, and then it stays put, which creates a really clean look as there's no need for strap minder loops externally and no extra length visible externally. The case is all high polished, and as you can see, it's a monoblock case, with the bezel and the mid case all being one piece. There's no seam between them. It's seamless. We have a sapphire blue cabochon on a physically arrested canteen crown. There's a little chain link to hold it in place so it can't go flying. There's an old-fashioned way of making a water-resistant watch. So the real crown sits inside, and you can see that there's a little seal within there. Now, this is an automatic winding watch, so you don't have to wind it constantly. You can set it, however, and as you can see, it features a hacking seconds function because of the JLC base. If you wish, you can wind it to get it going, but you're going to need to have some patience with this tiny crown, which is mostly designed to look great when covered by the bigger crown. Now, the watch is 30 meters water resistant, so splash and rain only. It's not truly the watch you want to take swimming, but it's got that lovely and evocative crown style that Gerald Genta resurrected from the first third of the 20th century. Now, the dial here is actually more attractive than you'll find on many versions of this watch, which often feature a conventional silver Cartier dial. Here we have a lovely eggshell cream. I would even say it's probably ecru. We have a polished gold chapter ring that frames a sort of blue cosmos around a moon phase disk. We have a railroad track outboard for reading the minutes and seconds. You can see the hands have been blued, and for the hours and minutes, they're broadsword styles. Sometimes this sort of mid-pinched, symmetrical broadsword, where it's exactly the same length on either side of the swellings, can be called a kite hand at time. We have a counterweighted lancet-style seconds hand. We have a leap year phase indicator that's coaxial with the month. We have the date and we have the day. This is a perpetual calendar, so you don't need to reset it until the year 2100. It can deal with irregular length months. It can deal with leap years. Inside we have a Cartier caliber 39, which is basically the JLC 889 with the Gerald Genta complication module. It is an automatic winder with bidirectional winding action, a 40-hour power reserve, a 4 Hertz beat rate, and it's adjusted in 5 positions, which is the high horology and chronometer standard. It's got the hacking seconds function, and it is thin, fine, and includes a great deal of hand adjustment and decoration. You can see this watch has the pre-1995 hallmarks, and it's just wonderful to combine Gerald Genta, Cartier, and Jaeger-LeCoultre into a single watch. This is an all-time great from one of the greats of luxury watchmaking. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.